Start the recording and get the session going. Thanks for being on time. Uh, this is quite a big topic to talk about in 1 hour, so I will really start on time. And I would roughly be taking the full hour and leave a few minutes for Q&A at the end. So please hold your questions if you want to ask about any of the thing I cover in today's session. So let me get the ball rolling, tee off for today's session on how to reinvent anything for the AI era. Anything, as you can see, is quite an ambitious topic, uh, but the reinventable approach I'm going to share with you allows us to reinvent anything. So it's not just products, it's not just services, it can be your workflow, your function in the organization, business model. So anything, I'm literally referring to anything. Okay, so what I want to cover today is how do we reinvent and harness digital intelligence. Obviously, with AI very accessible to us, we don't do it by hand and just by hand, right? Just do it ourselves, but we utilize and harness AI to help us. And the keyword here is help us to become a AI native, or sometimes we call it AI first. Just 15 years ago, more or less, we start to use the term we have to be digital first. Uh, Means that we reinvent or we transform our organizations, our products to be digital first. Today, we are at the same juncture, and what we have to do, and now more and more companies are trying to become AI first, or so-called AI native. So a quick word about myself. I've been a futurist speaker since 2013. So that's quite a long time ago. And I've spoken on different stages, talking about technology, future of business, future of the workforce, uh, future of industries, uh, to very diverse audience, helping them understand how technology and trends will shape the future of business and whatever they are doing regarding work, sometimes even extending to the area of our own lives. So you can see the testimony here is engagement I have with the recruitment team, the most senior recruitment team of Google. So this team is responsible for building and recruiting the 180,000 strong workforce. So we work on the future of work and skills. And for me to open with my keynote and opening workshop session to kick off their week-long futuring exercise. So one of the approach that I share and use in this engagement, later on, I will be explaining how it works. It's called Future Back. So it's one of the most powerful transformation tools we can use. And it's the fourth skill that I'm going to share. So tune into that so that you can learn this future back approach that can be used in so many situations and so many projects that you are working on. I'm also a practitioner. Um, while being a futurist speaker, I've also been helping large organizations innovate at speed and at scale. And I've been working in one of the largest news media organizations in the Asia as their head of strategic futures and innovation, as well as their de facto AI head. Uh, and many of the thoughts and systems that I'm sharing with you today came out during my time with them. So it's very usable frameworks because it is not a theoretical framework. It's actually quite a practical framework to reinvent and innovate for the age of AI. So I've been talking about what I call the 4.0 AI-centric model since 2013. And the World Economic Forum has a similar concept called the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So what I'm talking about is pretty much not uh, not echoing or not repeating what the other institutions are saying, but really oftentimes predating them. So I'll share with you my 4.0 model uh, in the slide after this. So I've a quick poll question. What do you think AI's impact will be equivalent to? Which technology most closely mirror the potential impact of AI? So type into the chat group. I only have a few engagement with you, so this is one of them. And later I will be asking you for the four skills, how familiar you are with the four skills, but that's about it. So can I guess just get your inputs into what do you think or which technology most clearly mirrors AI in terms of its transformative impact? I see the answers coming in. Thank you very much. Gutenberg Press, fantastic. Internet or mobile phone. Thank you. There's no wrong answers, just your answer and my answer, just different perspective. Okay, my big share will be in the next slide. So my 4.0 model looks like this. Uh, we always call it the Industrial Revolution. But in fact, the Industrial Revolution, there are two stages. The first Industrial Revolution that happened in Great Britain, in England, and the second Industrial Revolution happened in largely scaling in America. So the first Industrial Revolution was pretty much about steam engine. How do we use and harness the uh, uh, forces of nature to power our machines? And the second industrial revolution is how do we then detach this natural power that we can generate from where the power will be used. So that is what we call electricity, obviously. So these two actually, when you combine together, I call it master power revolution. It's the same revolution. It's just that it's in two stages. So the mechanical stage was the foundational, and then industrial was the explosive growth part of it. So most of the growth that happened, whether it is you're referring to global GDP, welfare, productivity, population booming, all mostly happen in the second stage, not in the first stage. In the last 60, 70 years, since the transistors, since the semiconductor, and the things that came along after that, the microprocessors, PC software, internet, it was the third industrial revolution, a 3.0 economy. And it was, you can see from the curve, is roughly at the flat part of it. Again, if we measure a lot of these indicators, the productivity and global GDP didn't grow that spectacularly. It was pretty flat, organic, growing little by little. Today, we are entering the fourth industrial revolution, the AI powered, with AI as the central driving technology. And today is the takeoff part of this growth. And why do I show you this? In a way, is two S curve, because the first industrial what we have been living through in the last 60, 70 years, and more recently with mobile revolution, is really foundational. It's really like the first industrial revolution that enables now the second stage to take off. So from the muscle power, now we are on the verge of takeoff of the mind power revolution. So the four industrial revolutions are all not equal. The world was really changed when uh, in the muscle power revolution, we solve energy, we solve electricity and use it to solve everything else. And everything at that time was up for reinvention. The real industrial economy took place and boom from that when we invented electricity. And there was a large scale migration, politics change, families change, everything changed along with that. So everything is up for reinvention. Today, we are at the same juncture. Uh, we let the large model companies, the Claudes of the world, OpenAI, Googles of the world, solve intelligence. And it's up to us to use intelligence to solve everything else. Every problem can be reframed as a AI problem, intelligence problem. And everything today is up for reinvention. Why did I ask the question earlier? Because if we did not answer that correctly, our mental framing will be wrong. A lot of us will say we have seen it before in the last 15, 20 years. We've been doing digital transformation and now it's more digital transformation. I'm saying that it's nothing that we've seen before because the last time it happened was more than 100 years ago. So Demis Hassabis, the head of Google DeepMind, very well-known Nobel Prize winner, who did the unfolding of proteins, and that's how he won the award. He said that industrial revolution, the intelligence revolution, will be 10 times bigger and faster than the industrial revolution. I fully subscribe to that. I've been saying this for many years. It's at an unprecedented speed and scale. So in the past, since computing came about, we operate based on this assumption. Processing information is rapid and nearly free. And since 1960s, we have been doing computerization and miniaturization of computing. More and more computing and smaller based on the assumption that processing information is rapid and nearly free. Since roughly 2010, the distribution, because of the internet, is now not just the processing, also the distribution is rapid and also nearly free at our fingertips when we have our mobile devices. But today with AI, we are going into a new curve. If you are still operating on the digital transformation paradigm, you'll be falling behind because the innovators of today, the leading innovators, they are operating on the assumption that intelligence is abundant and nearly free. And that would enable this new era of what I call the intelligent reinvention. No longer just more digital transformation, but really a new stage altogether. And that's why today's session, I want to get this really across to you that it's not more of the same. It's not just transformation anymore. We need to reinvent. The leaders, whether it's business or individuals, the winners, they are all actively trying to reinvent with the power of AI, which is now abundant and nearly free. So that's my takeaway. Innovation is a broad word, but a lot of times when we do innovation, it's very incremental. It's more of what we have and we try to build on it, improve on it. But that will not harness the full benefit of AI. That is what we call innovation at the edges. What we want is reinvention at the core. So a lot of companies are stuck here because they don't have a framework to help them to reinvent because most of the frameworks today, whether it's lean startup, design thinking, I'm a big fan of this. I use these methodologies a lot, but it's not designed really to facilitate the reinvention process. So the companies that define the next decade are not those that adopt AI the fastest. They are the ones that use it to think differently. It's it's not just AI native products or companies, solutions, services, workflows. It's also AI native mindset. The mindset comes first. How do we see the world uh, with AI at the core? How do we think differently pre and post AI? So it's not just what we do, but it starts with how we think. So we have to be AI native ourselves, having an AI native mindset, AI native habits, AI native approaches. And these companies, or individuals, they will reinvent to compete on entirely new terms. So I'm going to share with you, I'll step through from 1 to 4, these 4 interlocking skills combining into one single system. Each one of these skills are taught on their own, are very powerful on their own. I've been teaching them for many years, but now with AI, these skills are even more important. But when you bundle and you chain them up into a single process, it becomes a repeatable reinvention system. So some of you may have come across, heard of, or even fluent in these skills. I will share with you my quick take on each one of them. And in the full Maven course, then we'll actually cover them in depth, hands-on, have interaction discussions, case studies, and to do a capstone project that will bring you from the first to the fourth stage. So when you have a problem at the start, you actually have a very feasible and attractive value proposition at the end. So the 4 steps, we define the right problem first. Step 2, we have to question the assumption. Step 3, we'll integrate from unexpected sources, what we call transdisciplinary synthesis. And fourth one, we'll use the future-back transformation approach. So let me go into the first one, customer jobs to be done. This is also in short called JTBD, or sometimes we just call it customer jobs in short. So I want to test your familiarity with this, whether it's one at the extreme end, you have not heard of it, which is perfectly fine. There's a lot of terminologies I've not heard of as well. To the fifth one that you are fluent and you're proficient, you're skilled in it. Perhaps you're even teaching it, just like me. So can you just key in which level are you, right? A lot of times, these jobs be done is taught in design thinking, and that's how people come across jobs to be done. But it's kind of embedded and kind of lost in the whole scheme of things. Jobs to be done is so important, it should be on its own and it should be kind of expanded. So even though there's a lot of product managers and product designers I've taught, they use it as a very small little part of design thinking. In fact, it should be a standalone because jobs to be done is about customer needs. And customer needs is why business exists. So it's the existential reason and purpose of a business. It cannot be embedded in the innovation process alone. This has to be understood both whether you are a engineer, whatever functions you're a business leader, you have to deeply understand customer needs, and jobs to be done is the way to help you with that. All right, thanks for your inputs. I see a range from 1 to 4. So should companies be product centric? My answer is they should not be product centric. There are many companies that are very product centric, and when the product is disrupted by AI, today we know a lot of SaaS companies will be disrupted by AI, and there's so many SaaS tools I used to be using, and now I no longer use because I use Claude or use ChatGPT that will kind of handle it for me. Because they are so obsessed with their product, they miss the bigger picture of the customer needs. Their product is not customer needs. Their product is one of the many means to serve the customer needs. So instead, they should be customer obsessed. They should be living, breathing, and trying to understand what the customer needs. So customer have needs, and some of these needs are unserved, non-consumption. I was just talking to my daughter a few days ago, and we are just talking, there's a lot of mosquitoes in the open. And today, there's still no convenient way to solve this. How do we chase away the mosquitoes without applying any lotion, right? Because when you apply the lotions, it's kind of sticky and so on. So I gave her a challenge. This is a unmet need. During your vacation, build something to solve this together with AI. Without AI, it's so difficult, almost impossible. But with AI, now anyone can potentially reinvent. So that's a kind of unserved need. Today, there's plenty of unserved need, and typically in management lingo, we call it non-consumption. These people want to consume, want to solve this problem, but they either leave it unsolved or they do it themselves. In the past, there's a lot of people who want to fly, but it's too expensive. So they either take bus, uh, other forms of transport, or they reduce travel, or they don't even travel if they don't have to. So those are unserved needs. But sometimes there are the products out in the market by different vendors, different form factors, and customer buy and consume the products to serve those needs. So uh, the customers should be obsessed with the customer need, not just their products. Less their products and more customer needs, because their products, if they fall in love with it, they will not be building disruptive products that will be so much cheaper, so much better. And that's how we see the fall of many, many great companies. So when they buy and consume those products, there's the served need, there's also the underserved need. So underserved need is like somewhere in between served and unserved. But during the consumption process, there are problems, there are friction, there's also the cost hurdle. So sometimes startups, they focus on solving problems. Yes, solving problem is good, but that should not be the reason why the startups exist, because the startup should be innovating for the customer needs, not innovating for the problem. So customers don't buy products. You don't wake up and say, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. You wake up because you have some objective in mind, some goals you want to perform, some progress that you want to enable. That's why you buy the products to give you that progress. So products are really the wrong unit of analysis for customer needs. When you look at uh, market studies, they take the products as a proxy for customer needs. So it's not the unit of analysis for customer needs. So how do we analyze customer needs? Is this customer jobs to be done framework? It's not something that can be easily explained in like 5-10 minutes, even though I try to give you a glimpse of what it is. Uh, you know, I took many years to understand this. And once I get it, it changes entirely how I think about everything that I do. That's how powerful customer jobs to be done is. So the classic saying is that people don't want a quarter-inch drill, they want a quarter-inch hole, right? So if you're a product company, you are the one producing the uh, drill, but customer don't really wake up and say, I want a drill. More like, I want a quarter-inch hole. And they may be better, they want to frame their photos even, or for different reasons, they want the hole. So if you're obsessed with your drill, maybe some other solution will provide them to frame up their photo, but without drilling a hole. So those will be disrupting what you do. So what is the impact of AI on the consumption of products and serving of customer needs? So for the various class of customer needs, served, unserved, and underserved, AI will dramatically reduce the cost, reduce the problems, reduce the friction. And that in turn will drive plenty of consumption. So a lot of our unmet needs, unserved needs today, we will be able to serve it because the solution will be so much cheaper, so much more convenient, oftentimes enabled by AI at the front end, so that you even do not buy the wrong thing to start off with. I use AI to help me with so much shopping. All of us are like smart buyers nowadays. And it will drive explosive consumption because AI will help products. Normally, we say you can achieve two of these, cheaper, better, or faster. But today, AI enabled and AI native solutions will be cheaper, faster, and better at the same time. So if you don't reinvent, you will be losing to your competitors almost very naturally, because it's not about better or cheaper or faster, it's all about three at the same time. So there is no competitive segmentation anymore because the competitor is all better at all three dimensions. So this is DBS. It's rated one of the best banks in the world, multiple years in the running. And this was the former CEO, Piyush Gupta. And he said that we need to move beyond just thinking about products and services and instead focus on the jobs our customers are trying to achieve. So they are listed as one of the top 10 most innovative companies in the last decade by Innosight. And they embrace jobs to be done thinking at the CEO level and cascade across the whole organization. I have many case study, but I'll just glimpse through just two. This is Slack. Later on, I'll talk about Slack again. But Slack is one of my favorite examples for being native, using first principles. And this was the product head talking about how Slack is the interface, the new versions are being developed. And I asked her a question. How much does jobs to be done factor in how you all improve your products? And she said everything in our latest UI update was based on the jobs to be done framework. So that drive how the whole organization thinks. Not just a single person or organization, everyone follows the same customer job-centric, customer obsession thinking. So this is a very simple framework. There's multiple variants of this. This is my own version. Fill in the blanks. We help our business help who do a certain job so that they can achieve the progress. So this is my own example. I've been using it for the last decade. I help businesses and people preempt and prepare for the disruptive future so that they can always be future ready. So I've one product I'm going to show you in the next slide. And, with AI disrupting the workforce, now people are losing the visibility of where their career is going. 3 years later, in a professional career path, I know 3 years later, when I do enough, I'll be promoted. Then another 3 years, I'll be promoted. AI has upset that whole structure. So for the first time, suddenly everyone is kind of losing visibility of their career path. People don't even know the jobs as they are today, how would they look like in years to come. So I've developed a product, the AI native product. I'll show you in the next slide, to help career professionals. So now this is becoming more and more unmet need, unserved need, because career coaches today, they will struggle to tell you where to head to. They will struggle to tell you and advise you, what kind of skills, what kind of training to go for, what kind of roles will exist in the future that they should aim for, because that career ladder has disappeared out of the blue into thin air. So I've created this product called Leapcast, and when you put in your resume or your LinkedIn profile, preferably both, because it's better that it knows more about you, and it will produce a very detailed report based on what you have been doing, based on the roles, your expertise. This is what is changing in your profession. And in future, what is at risk, what kind of tasks that you do will be automated, what will be human-led, what will be augmented, and it will give you a landscape of where the future of work is going, particularly for you, and what should your career vision be, and followed by what should be your career strategy, and then give you a transformation roadmap. It's very, very detailed. It's not fluff, it's real concrete. Basically, this is a futurist in your hand now. The AI can become your personal futurist, your career futurist, and become your career coach. So this is serving a unserved need, or increasingly the demand will be there as the AI disrupt the workforce. So I'm going to move on to the first principles analysis. Again, just like how jobs were done, it's not just a skill, it's a whole way of thinking. Now, everything I think about is jobs to be done. Everything I think about AI first or AI native, I use the first principle approach. So it entirely reprogram how I think. So it is not just one skill in a 4-step process. It is a whole way of thinking on its own. Very powerful. And if you have these first principles thinking, then it's your big advantage at the workplace. And if you have a team, share it with them, you will transform the way they think, you transform their career. You transform how they see things. So standard question again, please help me, Keen 1 to 5. Not heard of it to all the way being the expert using it and teaching it. 1 to 5. Okay. All right, I see a mix of 1 to 2. That's great. I have something unique I'm sharing with you. These first principles came into the limelight, obviously, with Elon Musk. He used it to start SpaceX. He used it for Tesla and other businesses he built. Literally, you can build the winning business in the industry by this first principles thinking. But I'm not saying that you have to do that. You can use it in the smallest thing that you do, because it's a way of thinking. So what happened is that when we go from a current situation to a new situation, so-called new environment, so imagine now today we are talking about digital age. Now we are going to AI age. So if you don't use the first principle approach, what will happen is that you will take the current solution and you will add more tools and wrappers and technologies around it. And then it becomes a bloated solution. It's just like a taxi, a cab business, or the industry as a whole. How were they disrupted by Uber? Because they are just using mobile phone in those days for bookings, right? For people to call in for bookings. It's a bloated solution. It's not mobile first. And how did Uber disrupt the industry? Uber use this approach called first principles. It challenge all assumption, whatever that is obsolete, throw it away, and use location-based services to now enable a totally new solution. This is what we call first principles thinking. And that's why Uber is disruptive, because the things that doesn't work anymore, whether the assumption must be you want a taxi, you have to be standing on the street to flag it. So Uber founders say, no, why should we be doing that? That would be a very silly way of stopping taxis. So different assumptions that is no longer valid, throw it away and rebuild from there. So you don't have that legacy built into your business. And that is the problem with existing legacy business. For example, today's SaaS business, many of them will be taking what they have and wrap an AI layer around it. Again, that is innovation at the edges, not reinvention at the core. So this method is quintessential for reinvention. So the first approach, the taxi approach, is called thinking by analogy. The term is not coined by me. It's just more of we already know how things work and we extrapolate how things should work in the future. So it's both a physical and a product-based kind of legacy, as well as our mental legacy. Because we've been operating in the industry for the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and this is how it works. So it's layered and layered and layered of irrelevance being built in. So if you don't use a first principles mindset, then you can't get away from this baggage. So a first principles mindset breaks the problem into fundamentals. In fact, I will share it in the next slide, 3 steps that I use. There are other variations like 5 steps, 4 steps, but the cleanest one and the easiest to use is a 3-step process. And today we are doing first principles thinking, not just with, again, by hand. We are express using it very quickly, doing it very precisely with AI. So we are breaking down, we are taking the current solution and say, you know what, assumptions are built in there. And from there, we say, is this assumption still valid? Maybe, maybe not. No, it's still evergreen. It still stays. Those that stay, you keep, and in your new solution, you base it on those that is still valid. Those that are no longer valid, like stopping a taxi along the street, throw it away. Like people having to pay cash, throw it away. And rebuild from there. And you build in the trust mechanism into ride hailing, mobile payments. You can pre-order or pre-book, you can see the vehicle coming. These are all built on a different set of assumptions. So again, Slack is one of my favorite because Slack did not try to build on top of the email, right? The email came from a very different era, and there will be people trying to build a better email machines. But those didn't become billion-dollar startups. Slack did because it totally rethink in a digital age, in a mobile-first age. How do we enable communications using a very different set of first principles. The job here is not just sending the message, it's how do you create shared context. Email is about the sender deciding who to send to, right? It's broadcast, it is sender's discretion. In Slack, if you are a user of Slack, you know that you are the one that subscribe to say whether I want to be part of this channel or not. And the main objective now is to optimize for the speed of alignment within the organizations. And if you can help the company have a faster decision velocity, then that is the value of enabled by Slack. And that's what they measure themselves by. So this is the classic SpaceX example. I want to say that SpaceX and the various reusable rockets that they invented, it is AI native. You just think about that pre-AI age, you can't land a rocket on its own. It will be too complex. And you cannot use human again to be the remote controller because it's very risky and it's very dangerous. It's very hard to do the micro adjustments in real time according to wind speed and other factors. Only with AI can you eventually let it be self-landing. I mean, the first time I see it, I'm sure a lot of people as well, how amazing that you have this very thin stick or pole that can land very steadily in a floating platform, often in the ocean, right? So uh, the whole process, to cut the long story short, Elon Musk used the first principles thinking. Why must a rocket be this cost millions of dollars? Actually, the raw material is just a small percentage of that. So Elon Musk look at these are not needed. A lot of these are bureaucratic costs. So he reinvented the rocket. And the biggest assumption, obviously, is that the rocket is one-time throwaway, right? He did not assume that to be true. And he used physics to prove that the reusable rockets can be done. And he reconstruct the rocket from ground up, drastically and totally reinventing the whole space industry. So today we know a lot of all these big names, big auto brands. Today they are struggling to compete with EV native companies. Why? Because for the past decades, some even more than 100 years, that is how automotive industry has worked. How the products are engineered. What are the things that we need in the vehicle? And they take out the combustion engine and put in a battery, and that becomes their EV version. Whereas the native EV companies, they operate on an entirely set of principles. A car is a computer on wheels. Energy storage defines the vehicle, is the most important part. And not just the product itself, but the entire industry. On the left-hand side, the industry is multi-layered. First tier supplier, second tier, third tier. So it's very hard to engineer a whole new product because everything is dealing with so many suppliers. On the right-hand side is full vertical integration, which allow the speed of acceleration and mass production. Tomorrow, I am giving this keynote at the educational conference. It's all the other speakers are mostly doctors and professors. I'm not a educator per se. Uh, I'm not the expert in education systems, but I'm giving a keynote on this heavy topic: how to reinvent education for the AI era. And the reason why I'm able to do that is I'm using first principles. I'm seeing what the education system has been up to today. Remember, I show you we did digital transformation. That's what I call education 3.0. Today, how do we reinvent for education 4.0? What are the things that still hold? What are things that no longer valid and we should discard? And then we rebuild the future of education from there. So what I'm telling you is that it's not only just about building products, it can be new ideas. Uh, it can be used in your speeches, your keynotes. Everything you do, we can apply first principles thinking. There are a couple of examples, but I won't take too much time because there's a lot of things I'm covering. But I'm also reinventing enterprise learning, how we learn at the enterprise level using first principles. Because what came before was just in case education that is by different universities, tertiary institutions. We go for deep skill. And with mobile and digital, not just in time. When we require it, we do on the go learning, skill based. But today with AI, I'm no longer assume that's the way we learn. Because with AI, we can have another way of learning, what I call the meta skills. Metadata is data about data. Meta skill is the skill to use the skill. Why? To use the skill and not perform that skill because AI today can help us perform many of these skills. But we need to be the boss, the superior of the AI. We need to know what we want to get out of it. We need to know and provide the context. We need to evaluate the skill after it's being used. But we no longer need to learn the skill because how much time do we have to learn skills? But we have a lot of time to learn meta skills. These four skills I mentioned, why can I cover this in a one-day Maven workshop? Because it's taught to you as a meta skill. You are performing the work together and supervising AI to do it. And that is the new way of learning. Just enough. And you learn on the go. The third one is transdisciplinary innovation, something I'm very passionate about because pre-AI, it's almost impossible for us to be transdisciplinary. I will skip this because it's something so new. I don't think many of us really practice it in real. But I'll explain to you what I mean by that. With execution being increasingly being automated. Okay, I have this question for you. Is creativity the new source of competitive advantage? Just type in yes or no, Y or N. What do you think? Keep your answers coming. I see a yes. 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 Thanks for your inputs. I'm being very contrarian here. Uh, so this is somewhat a trick question. First, what is creativity? I agree with Steve Jobs' definition. Creativity is just connecting things. So, in our experience through life, we collect a lot of dots, so-called knowledge dots. And creativity is making two unrelated dots connect, and you see a new connection. That you can call it creativity, or you can call it insights or new ideas. But it happens first because we collect the dots over a period of time. For example, when we use mobile phone, iPhone, uh, Steve Jobs many years ago, he learned about the Zen Buddhism, the Zen way of thinking, the Zen style, and what they're using is very simplified sophistication built into the products because Steve Jobs many years ago collected the dots and he shaped how he thinks and he translate that at the intersection of philosophy and technology. So that's how it happens. Uh, so let me run this through with you. Execution failure is falling to near zero marginal cost. Especially this is the year of AI agents. I'm building my agents in Claude Cowork. So this is increasingly automated. I think that's a no-brainer. Today, creativity is increasingly commodified. Unless you are like the 5% most creative people, the rest of us, the speed that for us to generate new ideas is slow, is painful. Whereas digital intelligence can help us be creative at speed and at scale. To me, that is no longer the human advantage. The new human advantage, the next level is imagination. The AI is changing so much in the world, and it's not just a matter of AI, there's also climate crisis, there's also aging demographics, there's also geopolitics. You know, the world is in a flux. Our advantage is to able to more accurately see what's coming ahead of your peers, your competitors, that drive our actions today. What we see first, we see it twice, we imagine first, we get it correct. We are fighting at the level of imagination. Who can imagine what's coming better? Because that, if you can see it better, that's the direction you're heading, and eventually you head into the right direction. Your competitors, head in the wrong direction, then they have to chase back, or they make the wrong bets. So today we are really fighting at the level of imagination. Anticipate the future better and get there earlier. This is our ultimate competitive advantage. So let me share with you uh, uh, this activity that I do in my class. How might you use your favorite pastime to improve your favorite product? And for me, I love to watch golf, and uh, obviously I use a lot of Netflix. So I put the two together. Uh, if we have time, I'll let you have a 10 minute to think about it. But this is using Claude. It gave me very impressive ways of redesigning the Netflix interface. If you are to, again, ask you to think about this, you may have, at least for me personally, very incremental, maybe a bit more this, a bit more that. This is a new radical way of redesigning the Netflix interface. For example, replace using the caddy concept in golf, the vertical grids with AI caddy that can read your mood, the time of the day, and recommend you one perfect watch. It can be, it's like review when you play the hole, then you see what the hole is about. So it's like progressive content unlocking. It can be have a scorecard after you're viewing many things. It show you a scorecard of what kind of genre you watch, what kind of directors you discover, what kind of cultural range, what kind of diversity, and so on. You can even curate it as a 18-hole golf course with a, a whole related series kind of playlist. So you watch one as a go, all curated for you. So these are what I meant by that AI can help us with creativity. Our job need not be the one that slowly, in our own snail pace, come out with good ideas. Right? We can use AI and get the crossover and the intersection of ideas across industries, disciplines, and we eventually are the decision maker whether to implement that or not. So in the past I spoke about imagination is our superpower, our advantage, and more business will fail not because they cannot execute, but they cannot imagine. So AI can really help us with that. So humans are generally mono or bi-disciplinary, especially deeply, right? But our solution should not. So AI today can help us because in the past, transdisciplinary solutions are hard, slow, and very costly. So today we have a helping hand with AI. There's no longer excuse for your product to look like someone's product because it's based on the same industry norms and history. So I'll just flash the examples. Microsoft actually take the factory approach and put it into food service. They are like the one of the pioneers to do that. Airline, FedEx combined airline hub and spoke with overnight check clearing into logistics. IKEA combined shipping, logistics, and DIY culture into furniture, retail. Toyota, just-in-time manufacturing is based on supermarket restocking system, and they put it into manufacturing. Netflix is about F&B buffet concept, eat as much as you can, one single price with meal order delivery. That was the original meal order principle. Whereas in the past, you really pay for a single title that you check out from the store. Microsoft takes what is in the child psychology space called growth mindset. Today, growth mindset is such a common lingo and practice nowadays that because of Microsoft bringing it into corporate environment. Cirque du Soleil, they combine ballet, theater, and opera into a new form of circus. So I'm going to touch on last one. I'm not going to rush through it because I know I'm going to eat up more than 1 hour, but because there's recording, so I'd rather to go at a slower pace to cover it, but you can always catch up here if you need to go. Okay, now 1 to 5, what is your familiarity with a future back transformation? Okay, I see. All right, thank you. Mostly one. Again, I cannot emphasize enough. I sound like a broken record. I keep repeating. But what I want to say is that future back, if after you understand it, it would you internalize it, it will totally transform the way you think as well. Just now, that product called Leapcast, the one that gives you the career strategy report, is built on and based on the future back approach. So, a quick story: how did Apple beat all of them? Those were the giants of the day, right? And Apple was like a nobody on the verge of bankruptcy. But Apple beat all of them. So Apple used a different approach. All the other companies use this method called present forward. It means that your starting point is to today. And as more trends, more technology, you're basically feeling the stones and taking 1 or 2 steps along the way. So this is the norm of how most companies behave. So present forward, you will get a clearer picture when I contrast it with future back. They are almost guaranteed to be disrupted in the AI age. Just like those present forward companies, those that are disrupted, mostly they are like Blockbuster, right? Disrupted on Netflix because they use a present forward mentality. The internet is here, okay. Netflix totally created a new mail order business model, right? Whereas other companies will be rental companies will be okay. Let me add some internet. People can browse a title online and all this. Again, that is innovation at the edges. Whereas Netflix is reinventing at the core. Present forward companies, they won't become AI native in time because their starting point is wrong. Their starting approach is wrong. The destination will be wrong. So they will not make it in time, and that is why they will be disrupted. They need to be starting to be thinking AI native today by using the future back approach. Okay, what's the next slide? I'll go to this first. This is the future back approach. The future back approach is that you detach yourself from today and transport yourself mentally into the future. Whether you're talking about a one single person or a team of executive. And this is the approach I use with the exercise with Google. Similarly, uh, what is the future of work in 2030 or 2035, whatever timeline, whatever horizon you want to give, and envisage the future environment first. How would the future environment be different? The industry landscape be different, shaped by not just AI, but just now I mentioned the other mega trends, climate, aging demographics, geopolitics, and so on. And from there, you decide how you want to play to win. So is your strategy starts from the future, not from the present. So in that rich narration of how the future environment will be, you define your vision. It's like a one-liner kind of thing to inspire the whole company, and have a detailed strategy to play to win. And from there, you map the steps backward. If by 2030, I need to achieve this, 2029, I need to do this, 2028, I need to do this, up to today. So it become a very detailed transformation roadmap. So when you're looking at the use cases, the prototypes, the demos you're building, it's not in isolation on its own. It's not to dabble with the technology. It's trying to build this vision that you have and see whether that technology is matured enough. What does the customer say? You know, what is the user experience? What is the cost structure? It's experimenting to build that vision of an AI native business model or product that you want to have. So it's not use cases because other people are doing it, best practices. Okay, let's do it here, right? Those are why companies are not reinventing. They are just very focused on productivity. And this process is iterative and dynamic. It's not a static thing, that once it's done, it's cast in stone. It's actually very dynamic. 6 months later, because of all the changes happening, we revisit that. So this can be done at your one person level, your team level, your department level, entire company level. And this is other than first principles, this is the biggest reason why future back or these disruptors will beat the incumbents because they are using a future back approach. So how did Steve Jobs use this? So Steve Jobs had the inspiring vision. He knows that, and this is 25 years ago. Today we are living it already. It's clear and obvious, but that time is not so obvious, right? We are living in the new digital lifestyle with explosion of digital devices. It's huge. And the PC and Mac can become digital hub of our emerging digital lifestyle. So what he's trying to say, 20 years ago, he built the future of the company based on future lifestyles. And obviously, Apple want to be the best player in that space. And what is their play to win strategy? Digital hub, combining design and technology, humanities and tech, integrated partner ecosystem. So their digital hub strategy evolved to the Mac era and then to the iCloud. Whereas the other companies all have the present forward device-centric approach. We just have a best MP3 player. We just have this and that. If you think like that, you'll never have an ecosystem like this. And that's why today we really need to use the future back. And that's where I want to show this curve. A quick explanation is that what we have when we have a new technology will go into this curve. The old curve will rise and then eventually it will die. Then the new curve will emerge. So what we want to do is our business, we want to go from the old curve to the new curve. if you use the uh, present forward, what happen is that you have more of the old curve plus some of the technology in the new curve. That's what we call AI plus. You have a AI enabled product, but not the AI first product. The disruptors are thinking differently. They're thinking with first principles and future back. That's how they get AI native. All right. So that is the concept of future back. It's not uh, invented by me. You can refer to the book Lead from the Future. It's by the partners of InnoSight, which is founded by Clayton Christensen, the Harvard business, the late professor who coined the concept of disruptive innovation. Okay, so uh, all four are important steps, but all four are useful and important on their own. So this is how, when you combine them, you get a repeatable reinvention process. Obviously, as part of the process, you can have integrate design thinking or lean startup, uh, but those alone are not enough. On if you follow this, you'll get somewhere uh, in terms of the concept. Then you have to go out there and test it. Then you use lean startup or agile approaches. So I'm going to just spend the next few minutes to talk about this full course. Is 1 day. Depending on your time zone, it should be between 10 to 11 July. And what I shared with you just now, that is just the overview. In the course, we are actually doing in-depth, very hands-on, and we are covering the mindset comes first. Yeah. So we have to build inculcate a bold reinventive mindset. That will be your big advantage at the workplace. No matter what role you have, what functions you do, you will distinguish yourself from other people because you have this uh, reinventive mindset and do things based on AI first, AI native. And then we will be going through every of these four skills with a capstone project. So you will be using your own capstone project, or there's a suggestions for you to choose from. But nonetheless, we are working on a real world problem. For example, you may want to choose, how do I invent Apple products for the AI age? Right? The CEO is struggling with that. That's why there's a new CEO coming in. So you can take any company that you want, or you take a real life process, product, solution, workflow, function in your existing organization and reinvent it for the first AI first. So this is my last slide. I just want to say each one is essential thinking tool. If you are not an inventor or you're not innovator, doesn't matter. Each skill itself is usable, very powerful, and will shape your mindset for years to come. It's hands-on, it's interactive, it's practical, and if you submit your capstone at the end, then there is a certification uh, for the reinventable applied practitioner certification. Okay, I know I've overrun by 10 minutes. Thank you for your patience. I will spend, nonetheless, I forget to mention there is the 25% discount code HB if you key in at the checkout. Uh, I will like look at what questions you have uh, and try to answer a few of your questions and then close this session. So can start, just type in any questions. I'll leave like 30 seconds to see if anyone has any questions, clarifications. The recording will be sent to you. So I will not be sending out any slides. Just refer to the recording. So you can refer back. I know I go at a quite a fast pace, but nonetheless, on your own, if you're interested in anyone, just do your own self-study. You can use ChatGPT or Claude. Teach me about this. At least teach you at the meta level so that you can be using Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini if you prefer to develop that skill as well as implement that skill. Okay, all right. Please reach out to me, Anna. Please, any one of you, just reach out to me on LinkedIn, connect to me, and just ping me any questions that you have. The question is from Simon. Will people care for all this in the age of AI? Can you elaborate on that? Consumers who want cheaper, better, more convenient product, problems that in the past wasn't solved, unfulfilled. Companies want to drive more growth. So it's inevitable. There will be a creative destruction of every industry. It's just like when the internet came out, the .com came out many years ago. It was, trying to find its feet. And then eventually the e-commerce retailers, entertainment companies, one after another is kind of disrupted. Well, people management, yes, definitely. So you see, HR today, what happened is I explain this in other courses that I run as a futurist. The organization is also going through reinvention from 3.0 to 4.0. So again, I explained that in other of my futurist keynotes and workshops. Workforce 3.0 to workforce 4.0. Then there will be talent 3.0 and talent 4.0. And for HR people, people management, and the HR function is that they are also undergoing through reimagination. But yet they are also the ones that have to co-drive, if not lead, the workforce transformation in the organization. So it becomes very uh, challenging for the HR function. So all the more the HR people has to be at the forefront of reinvention. Okay, Simon, if everything will be done by AI, even critical thinking, how do we assert these insights you discussed today? Okay, so not everything will be done by AI. It's just that a lot of what we used to do manually, today AI is doing as good, sometimes just slightly inferior, sometimes much better. So we cannot do the we For example, I've given you four skills, higher order thinking, frameworks, mindsets that allows you to elevate above AI. So we need to develop our higher order thinking, and that covers critical thinking, creative thinking, analytical thinking, and these are the frameworks that help us to do that. So, and help us to develop our imagination further. So you can check out, just now I provide the link, leapcast.intelligencesymphony.com. You can look at the Leapcast report, and the Leapcast report is using this future back approach. So it's telling you, not starting from today. Everyone else is starting from today, trying to peek into the future of work. So the uh, the what we have to do is detach ourselves from the present, go into the future. 2030, 2035, whichever timeline I want to use, uh, and future, we imagine that future first. It won't be 100% correct. It's what we are, the kind of saying, right? It's not about the plan, it's about the planning process, about the thinking process, right? So you let AI to come out with it to guide you. Oh, okay, this is how my role will be partly redundant, partly accelerated, partly elevated. Thank you, Anna, for providing that link. And use that to work backwards to give you a clear picture of how do you navigate your career moving forward. That includes what kind of role should I apply for, ask for internal transfer, new projects I should take up, new experiments I should do, new upskilling I should, the right upskilling I should do, the courses I should attend, the chatbots I should build, and uh, and things like that. How to get our younger kids to be receptive to this concept? I don't think this is the occasion to talk about younger kids. I have another article that I wrote in 2015, and I'm talking about my kids entering the workforce in 2030, the year 2030, and how I should raise them so that they are fit for the AI future. So uh, that is today. I mean, just as my personal take, this is more personal opinion, is that I ask them to do your best to get into the best course in university. Then after that, just do enough to pass. In the meantime, build your business. There is no more exciting time to build your one man, one person enterprise. Okay, thanks for all the questions and thanks for staying behind and engaging. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, and if you like to take the next step, just join the course. This course is the one of the only in the world, and I'm writing a book on that. Okay, so thank you very much. Let me call this to a close, uh, and connect to me on LinkedIn. Bye.